watching the FileMaker News Network. Bringing you the latest in critical FileMaker news, as well as trivial gossip. Miles Debski with Internet Weather. And our field reporter, Jacob Taylor. Anchored by our award-winning team of Margaret, Haley, Jeremy, and David. You're watching FileMaker TV. Oh, it's awesome. Very awesome, everyone. Welcome. Whoa, there's Miles there. There's a weather reporter right there on the job. He's ready to go. Well, everyone, welcome to fmtraining.tv. Today is Hot Action News Network Day. It's Friday. It's been a very action-packed day. We're here at headquarters at our studios in California, and we're going to go right to Internet Weather with Miles Debski. Go, Miles.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Can you hear me over there?
Yeah, you're 5x5. You're good to go.
Been a pretty windy week in terms of internet weather here. We actually had a widespread Amazon Web Service outage that appeared this last week that did appear to bring down services worldwide. Now, the cause was not originally known. Unofficial reports did suggest the issue originated from Amazon's West Coast U.S. cloud regions. And we did confirm that the issue was with the U.S. West 2 region in Oregon and our U.S. West 1 down in Northern California. Among the services affected were Twitch, PlayStation Network, Intuit QuickBooks, Slack, Netflix, USPS, Ring, Starbucks, Snapchat, Zoom, EA Services, and DoorDash. So a very Merry Christmas season to us indeed. Now, this outage followed a significant outage last week at AWS's Northern Virginia U.S. East 1 region. That outage took out everything from Disney Plus to Tinder and even Amazon's own warehouse logistics network. Now, the company said at the time the outage was due to a failure at an internal network to host foundational services. This network did collapse due to unexpected behavior by automated systems. Yes, Alexa and the Terminator robots are coming. We did ask for an official statement from Amazon, and we received the following. While we are proud of our track record of availability, we do know how critical our services are to our customers, their applications, end users, and their businesses. This event impacted many customers in significant ways, and we will do everything to learn from this event and improve our availability even further.
Wow.
I'm not sure what to tell you, Amazon. We expect better.
The weatherman expects better. Now, we do have reports. I have a hot report here that says that Claris Cloud made the news with an outage. Now, was that in any way tied to this event?
A few conflicting reports on that, but we believe it is. It was actually on Apple Insider reporting some information on that. They were down there. And I think it was a few hours they were down.
All right. Yep. Well, anytime you make the news because of an outage, it ain't good for the PR and marketing department. So, all right. So, Ed says, Miles, how did Amazon, they're asking you for a hot report on Edwardsville, Illinois, when the tornadoes went through the building. Did that affect any outages?
I always say it's never good when tornadoes go through buildings. So I would assume
that didn't help at all. I'm sure. So
did not help.
Did not help. All right. So we're going to change gears. We're going to go to Jacob Taylor. Jacob Taylor, do you have a camera for us to look at your smiling face? We're our live action news. All right. This is our field reporter, Jacob Taylor. So we're going to be pivoting now. It's actually been a very busy news week. We had to cut out Kyle Williams today and put the hot action news in because there's so much going on. So going to our field reporter, Mr. Taylor, there's been updates, there's been ransomware, there's been hostages, there's been screaming, there's been shooting. Do you want to give us a rundown? First, give us a rundown on this ransomware exploit. It was basically a zero-day exploit that came out a week ago, or was it 2 weeks ago now?
It was a week ago. As you all maybe you heard on the news, I believe it actually did make 5 p.m. news in some places. There is a large-scale software vulnerability, basically. There's a logging library for a programming language that lots of programmers use. And it has huge issues, short version. So this is not going to be relevant to most people who are using like desktop applications, or you're just clicking around the internet, browsing websites, whatever. Even FileMaker, we have late word, I think it was Wednesday, from Claris, that basically we are unaffected by that. It's called the Log4j vulnerability. So we don't actually have to worry about it too much. However, it is worth noting a very old version of the library is included in previous versions of FileMaker Server, and so you may wish to upgrade anyway. We'll step through like Claris's official documentation on this here in just a couple of minutes, but basically the short version is if you're on any FileMaker 18 or 19, you're fine. If you are on 16 or 17, there's no exposure to the version of the library that is making the news because it has issues, but that's also because they were using such an old version, actually, that it's before that version was out. It's a version from like 2007. And so if you're on 16 or 17, basically we are encouraging everybody to update, not least because of issues in that old version of the library. There are issues with it, it's just different issues. And then also because even 18 went out of support at the end of, I believe it was July. And so it's basically at this point, if you're not on 19, you are using an unsupported product, which may be fine. But we're kind of encouraging people, if you're very nervous about it, go up to 18. If you're like, all right, we'll rip off the Band-Aid, go to 19, please. You'll have a much better experience when you get there. So.
Yeah, so Kyle Williams threw out basically authorized.net's version of a press release on this exact topic. And so it's called the library. What this is, for those of you wondering about this, I'm going to move Jacob over a smidge.
Make me a little smaller.
Yeah, slightly smaller. So what this is called Log4j, and it's an open source Java kind of based logging routine where if you want to write a log, instead of you writing your own log software, you just come up with a message and you shoot it off to this log software and it writes the log for you. So you don't have to really worry about managing the log. So there's a vulnerability in that. It doesn't matter. The vulnerability actually is kind of a cool feature, but bad guys have learned how to exploit it. And so they came out with version, it was 2.14 of this thing had a problem. Then they came out with 2.15, which is what Kyle's pointing out here with authorized.net. That data is already out of date, Kyle. For the people who are paying attention to this in terms of technical detail, 2.15 has a vulnerability too that they found out. So now that everyone's like staring at this software, they're finding all the little things. So 2.16, do I have that correct, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, 2.16 is now out, and there is not a subsequent release. Maybe 2.17 is what they'll name it. That's not out yet, but it is frankly expected, because they have basically every subsequent release, it turned out there's another problem with it. And so they're patching them and patching them and patching them. And so probably by next week or the week after, we'll have an official version that's 100% good to go. And if you don't use this feature, which are called JNDI lookups, if you don't use that in any of your, I don't expect the people watching this to have any use for that, but if you don't use it, it's basically safe to update. Just apply the new version. It's fine.
Cool. Miles, we have any relevant weather information on this? Are we good? No?
I think we're good. Just hoping for clear skies going into Christmas week, unless you live somewhere where it snows, rains, or is still hot.
Yep, there you go, which would be about entire 99% of the planet. All right, cool. Well, so Mr. Taylor, let's go through. So I'm going to leave this behind. So Claire says you should update. For those of you who email me and ask me about FileMaker version 12, can I help you with 12 and stuff like that? There's reasons we use the latest versions. This is not the only security vulnerability that's gone by the desks of Claris. They had another one a couple weeks ago, or back with 19.4 when they patched something. So there's a lot going on in the world of security, and I recommend that people stay up to date. Once again, if you buy FileMaker once and just like leave it for 20 years, we'll see what happens, right? Eventually it won't work just because it gets too old, but then, along the way, are you exposed to vulnerabilities? Maybe, maybe not. So there you go. All right, so let's talk about the latest updates. What other news do we have this week on, so that was that news, right? What other news do we have?
So that was that news. Yeah, so we got essentially a clean bill of health on that. Wednesday this week, there was a 19.4.2 as a follow-on patch to the previously released 19.4.1. It fixes a should I switch to my screen here?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Richard did mention there is a security fix in 19.4.2. That is correct. It honestly doesn't affect most clients, but for the people that it does affect, this will be very welcome because it caused issues with you even being able to connect to other stuff. That's the 19.4 on server. There's also some cleanups and then a couple of features. So there were some kind of at release time bugs in WebDirect where merge fields would show internal strings and stuff like that. And then the new as of 19.4.1 set session identifier script step was also not working correctly, basically on server side specifically, and so those are corrected basically with 19.4.2. So maybe it may be an exciting release for you if any of these things if you're on 19.4.1 and any of these things sound familiar. Perfect. 19.4.2 is for you. So.
Yeah, there were some other fixes too in here. I'm not seeing the complete list here, but I thought there were some other fixes as well. So that takes care of that. So we're at 19.4.2 for those of you wondering about what's going on. Real quick, I want to welcome everyone. So we're got Canberra, Ed, Fox, Jackie D, Jericho, Kyle, Labo, Larry. The Marines are here. Monkey Spread Bread is here. NJ from Australia. Welcome, NJ. How are you folks doing over there? We do miss all listen, so for those of you wondering about this real quick, and I'm just going to state this because some of you we haven't talked to you as much, is we found notified Wednesday, I think it was, or Tuesday, that we were getting this award. And the award, really, people tell me, it's like, all right, Richard, good job. It's like, I'm just the ringleader. It's a combined effort here. Almost everyone here on Discord at one point or another has contributed somehow, some way. Ruben's contributed, and Organ Dean, and NJ from Australia, who we almost never see, has contributed all sorts of sample files. Kyle Williams has done upwards of, what did you do, Kyle, 17 different live streams with us, Kyle? So Kyle's done quite a bit. And so I want to thank all of you because it's a team effort. So I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart that we get to collectively put this stuff together and get it out there. There's a lot of lurkers that are out there, people who are on Twitch, on YouTube. We got Lynn from YouTube, Michelle from Montreal in there. Yeah, you like the news intro. Jess Rita's there. Glad you're there as well. Once again, we're trying to keep it entertaining and as fun as possible, but also covering important stuff. And yes, there was a Claris cloud outage, and it made the news, which is never a good thing, but it is what it is. So day 1 of 4, a week holiday. Yeah, NJ, great, congratulations. We're glad you are here. I like to see all the people all the time. So that is let's see, so that's the internet weather. That covers this is where the newscaster is like looking at his paper and checking things off. Yeah, right.
We got server. You want to go through the issues fixed in Pro and
yeah, let's do that. Let's cut to that.
They break each of the pages out into individual things now, so it's not like one big pack. Yeah, so if you want to cover like 19.4.1, there was a bigger list of changes. 2 is it's proper. It's just a patch. It fixes a couple things. You see another appearance of that ECC SSL problem, which is just noted again because it applies to the combo of Pro and server there. There were some, we'll say, performance issues caused in 19.4.1. So if you're on that on server and Pro, you probably want to be on 19.4.2 now because they've corrected some kind of issue that caused the layouts to take forever to show up.
Boy, that, I really dislike that description because that's too damn vague.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's some magical Harry Potter and then if you did something else, then it would go slow. I hate that. I just not enough data.
Yep.
Jared, thank you for flying Southwest Airlines. We appreciate the fact that you almost died today on our 737, but things worked out fine, so have a nice day. If I said that as you were getting off the plane, everyone would freak and want to know what happened. So that's what that says.
Yep. And then there were some kind of Windows-specific issues that have been corrected, where like you couldn't sign into your Claris ID.
Okay.
Yeah, in 19.4.1. I would say that's a big issue, especially if you're on Claris Cloud. So, and then the upgrader still doesn't work on Monterey, it looks like.
Well, that was on Windows. They were report a Windows problem in the updater. I've got it to work on M1.
This is what I mean. There's an existing problem with if you're on 19.4.1 on Monterey and you try and use the inbuilt one to go to 19.4.2, it will fail to find a copy of your software, and you have to go help it.
Nice.
Help it.
Yeah, so the updaters for me never work seamlessly. I run a 360works email plugin on all my stuff. I don't run Monkey Brown and everything. I'm sorry, Christian Schmidt, because I don't do as much development as I probably should. And I also set my cache settings really high on FileMaker. Go to preference, set them high. I have never had an updater on any of the 12 Macs that I use operate smoothly and correctly without tossing a fit. And Claire's always like, oh, it works great for us. I'm like, okay, well. So on 12 different, it's not like one machine I have because I have different offices and things, so it fails on every one. It just takes like 30, 45 minutes for it to update. It gets lost. I have to force quit sometimes. It's kind of a mess. So what else we got? Claris products. So here's the statement from Claris on the log vulnerability here.
Log4j. Yeah, the thing I wanted to bring up on this, which is very solid actually, which is this little chart that they built for us, basically showing we're essentially unaffected, and only so they're not covering things previous to 16, which is great because officially I suppose they're like, no, 19 is the only valid version that exists right now, but realistically customers have systems running back at least to 16 and some older. I would encourage, if you have anything before 16, you should absolutely upgrade. Because there's just been so many improvements to the product since then. But if you're on 16, hanging out, getting ready to go to 19, something like that, this is not the reason to do it, but there are lots of other reasons too.
All right. So pushing along, what do we want to talk about? Because you said it's been Blog City, right, with Claris?
Yeah. So, and I haven't looked at these, so we'll maybe dive into some of them together. So they've been basically almost every day this week, they've been posting new updates on the engineering blog.
It's like they all start drinking a can of like motivation down there. It's weird because they normally I'll say if you're like a FileMaker developer, maybe even internally, and you're trying to keep up with the platform and stuff like that, I would bookmark this link. Basically, we can post it everywhere, but I would bookmark it and check it occasionally. Well, if you just do a search in Google for Claris Engineering Blog, you're going to get this.
Yeah. And so you'll see they'll go a month between updates, and then this week.
Then there's like there's a rash of them right here, and then a rash of them right here, right? So, yeah. So there you go. That was that last ransomware vulnerability that they cleaned out in 19.4. So that was a legit issue, very obscure, but still legit.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, the XML. Yeah, right. Yep. That was 19.4.
All right. So what new ones do we have? What new ones do we have here? We have
fresh. We have upgrading to the latest version of FileMaker Server and FileMaker Pro, which should be this one right here.
Okay. Oh, hey. So this is really good to know. This came up the other day. So, Jacob. So FileMaker Server supports. Can you check this out? What it supports?
Oh, there we go.
So remember on the Mac, they always only support the current OS and one OS back, and they were up to 4 OSs they were supporting, but 19.4.2 they dropped Mojave, so 10.14 was axed. So 10.14 gone bye-bye, right? So we got these current OSs here. Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019, and there's a newer Windows Server. Windows people out there.
2022, yeah.
2022. Wait, they named a product that hasn't. Okay, is it shipped already?
Correct. Yes.
It has shipped.
It's out there. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that would normally be called 2021. So someone at Microsoft can't read the damn calendar.
They got spicy with their naming.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so So that's not supported yet. And then Ubuntu is now the supported one. It was CentOS OS. Remember, it's 18.04, what they call the LTS, long-term support. These are like versions of the operating system that are going to be like kind of locked in concrete because they're good, stable places to land on, right? Is there a Ubuntu 20 LTS? I think there's a 20.
There's a 20, yeah. The way their LTS, long-term support LTS, works is they do kind of incremental updates every 6 months. So like 1804 was followed by an 1810, was followed by a 1904, et cetera, et cetera. You get the naming scheme
Okay.
there. And then but every 2 years, 1804, 2004, April of 2020. And then the next one will be April of 2022 coming up here shortly. They release a long-term support, and what that means is you have basically full. They don't patch like features and stuff too much after release, but you get 5 full years of security updates on the server.
Yeah.
And that is very solid. So.
Yep. I like that. So yeah. So at some point, Claire's will bump up and move up to the next one. But yeah. All right. Cool. All right, so there's upgrade steps and other mayhem like that. We don't have to really get into that. I just wanted to cover the supported versions here. There is a checklist of how to go through the upgrade process.
I know. I want to read this and see if there's anything different from what we do at some point. I'll do.
Yeah, at some point you do that. And then I think I did the 19.4.2. Did I do the updater on my personal server? Or am I still on 19.4.1? I think I have to update my server.
I'm not sure. I don't remember that we got together to do that, but you can probably
go through and do it.
These days it's easy enough. Like if it's one of those things where, like for customers and for you, basically customers that are more highly technical in general, you can often do the upgrades yourself. The basic thing that I have to give everybody fair warning. I have had significant issues with those upgraders, and it basically depends on like the different versions involved, the phase of the moon at the time that you're doing it, etc. And so. You have to be careful and just know that if the upgrade fails, you're going to be doing a clean installation.
Yep. So that's where I'm on 19.4.1 still on my personal test server, so I'll have to update that. All right, cool. Well, we'll follow the process on that. Cool, because yeah, cool. All right, what other blog articles were there? Because there's some other juicy stuff in there.
Oh, we got a bunch of them. So then we had the next one was the Q&A on the Log4j vulnerability.
Yep, we covered that. Already. That's good.
Yep. We have a migrating from FileMaker Cloud for AWS.
Yeah, let's spend a little time on that. Just go ahead and do that because, once again, we keep running into people. So I think we talked about this the other day, but so you hear me when I talk about FileMaker. Yeah, it's the marketing department down there at Claris, which is basically run by
that sentence right there.
Yeah, which is basically run by the sales department. And they keep changing the name of the product, right? So basically, if you ever go, pop a new window and go and just do a search for FileMaker documentation or Claris documentation. There, product documentation. Just click on that, okay? All right, so here's what I want to point out real quick. So just freeze. So the current product and market, this is what they call it, right? Oop, there it goes. Right there. That's what you see. Okay. Notice the dot number on there is 2.19. Okay. That is the major platform variant, and then that's like the engine number, right? So that 19 matches that, 10 matches that. This is Cloud 2. Okay. So whenever I refer to things, I'll refer to it as Cloud 1 or Cloud 2. Why do I do that? Because precision matters in the world that we live in, right? It's like, we want to fly a plane, we want to kind of land it, or you want to land it with precision, right? And so, Cloud 1, which if you go down here, is there like a legacy documentation down here? Probably. Yeah, there we go.
Archive,
keep going up. There we go. So here's Cloud. There it is. So here it was called Claris FileMaker Cloud, and it was Cloud 1. And then Claris decided that, hey, we want to keep using the word FileMaker Cloud, but, we want to like call out that somehow it's different. Well, normally you do 1 or 2, right? But they didn't want to do that, so they decided to put that and glue that on it, right? Which confuses the shit out of everyone. Because if you know anything about Claris Cloud, even version 2 is on AWS. It's all on AWS, right? So this is the 1.0. This product is being deprecated. For those of you who missed the memo on this, it's being shut down. So if your screen when you log on says FileMaker Cloud one dot anything or FileMaker Cloud for AWS, your server will be forcibly shut off. Where's that other document, Jacob? You want to go back the one
it's Jan 4, yeah.
Yeah, you want to pop back to that. Here we go. So this is super, super duper important, right? So I'm going to zoom in on this so we all see it. So it's going to be end of life, which means they're going to literally, even though your server might work and you might be happy with it, doesn't matter. They're going to blow it up and kill it. And so it's very, very important that you understand that you need to get your file off there. To get the file off there, you must have the EAR, the encryption at rest password. If you don't have it, you've got a very serious problem. So we've reached out to all our customers, and like I said, what are we down to? About 5 companies who we loosely talked to way back, and they had set up their own stuff. 5 or
the numbers in the 5 to 7 range.
Yeah.
Most or all of them either are moving, have moved,
or they
have another server, and
they're
keeping the
or they're out of business and they haven't. We can't get a hold of anyone, right?
Yep.
That too.
One of them is literally the business shut down halfway through this year, and so we're. I actually did get a hold of them.
Okay.
I have to call him back after stream, but. To help them because they got basically the business shut down and then a portion of it was acquired as well.
Wow.
And so there are interested parties interested in the FileMaker data who are not the original business.
Okay.
So I'm kind of doing due diligence to make sure everybody is in agreement that the appropriate people can tell me over the phone, yes, that's the new person, yes, give them the data, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm not just
and you also have to unsubscribe from the service too, right? So yes.
And that's a big one. There are, I assume it's in probably on this page. There are official offboarding instructions for the old FileMaker Cloud product.
Oh, here it is.
They actually do need to be followed. There's multiple steps, and it is not merely, oh, I have an instance in my AWS account, let me blow it up. There's an offboarding process. Claris is notified that you have offboarded as part of that process, which is why to follow it. Otherwise, they will continue to think that you have a cloud machine. If they are aware of that status, blocks license renewal. So if you happen to have coterminous licensing, it's going to expire, around the time that you set the machine up or something like that. And then you're now surprised because January 4th is coming up here pretty quickly. Please do note that they will not let you actually fully renew your licensing until you're off cloud, like it's gone, completely removed from your account, and probably is 24 hours later. So because it takes a minute to show up on their end. So
okay, cool. Well, so you got instructions here for that. So once again, this is offboarding. We've actually seen this coming for over a year. We've been reaching out to people. This is also why we had that one emergency Star Trek transporter with a customer, and that's where they had administrative level access to their FileMaker file, so they could log in and do field scheme and stuff. So they're using Cloud One, the one that's going to go away in a couple weeks or 2 weeks or less, right? But they didn't have the EAR password, so they couldn't actually get the file and open it. And so what we did is that's where one of our engineers saw how they were doing add-ons. We turned the whole solution into an add-on, right? Basically, it's emergency, what we call the emergency Star Trek one to beam up. If you don't beam me up in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to be dead. Literally that kind of thing, right? So we actually saved a customer with that. And so if you run into this, hopefully...
the thing is it's one of those things where I can say it's possible to save the client. The range of possibility there though is very narrow. You have to be able to talk to their server. You have to have admin access to the file, et cetera. And it has to be from Pro 18. That is the version that can do this process. And so if the cloud server is older than Cloud 1.16, for example, if you have an OG original 1.15 something, we can't help those customers if they've been sitting around that long. So
So anyway, so that was the whole idea with that. And I think the Star Trek transporter, even though it's kind of broke in 19, is something that Claris has to revisit, will revisit. And that's all part of the add-ons and making, once again, Moki, we had a conversation with him. He's not here because Moki doesn't really like watching me. He likes watching Nick. But when Nick was here the other day and we were warming up for that, we were talking about that the serialization of the code, the ability to take a FileMaker file and export it out with perfect fidelity is the term I use, perfect fidelity, into a text file. You can change that text file, and then you can bring it back to FileMaker, and it can rematerialize it with perfect fidelity and bring it back just the way it was. But if it's a text file, you can make whatever changes in there you want, right? It's literally like a program like Xcode or some other programming visual studio or something where you have the code and you compile it and it goes back in. Claris has toyed with this. I suspect that it's kind of backseat right now because they're trying to get their new GWiz stuff going, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Because we need the Star Trek transporter, we need this. So.
They've made some comments that it is certainly on the list. It is just not at the top of the list currently. So,
all right, moving along. What's next?
It's a feature set that they would like to deliver to people. So the last one, where's our list? Nope. Maybe. One day I'll guess correctly. Hold on. There we go. Referencing local files from FileMaker Pro web viewers, which may be of interest to people who are using lots of files.
This sounds like a Kyle Williams moment here, because that sounds like something Kyle, unnatural acts of the web viewer, right? So let's see. We'll see how this applies. The engineering blog describes how to export files to a temporary path, then view them. Oh yeah, this is good. We should do this in a live stream. I don't know who web viewers primarily.
Is this enabled by 19.4? Because they made some fixes around this. Mapping local file paths, so it shows you some techniques for how to do that. And what the temp paths look like.
Sample code and everything. This is great. From FileMaker, I don't think that's on the certification test, but that's convert from FileMaker path function, accepts version you are, and change it to another version in the code above. Temporary path is converted to a version that a web viewer can use to display the content. Can you do me a favor? Yeah, hit that and look that up. Oh, here it is. This is Claire's help. Converts the path FileMaker to in a FileMaker to a standard format. So standard format would be like internet friendly format, I guess, right?
It's probably file : or something like that. Yeah, let's see. So hold on. Use the format parameter to specify one of the following formats. Okay. So you can, I'm on Linux. Give me POSIX path. I'm pulling something that's like web-like. Or it's going to stick it into a web. This is probably what you would use for the web viewer. I bet I should go look at that code. I bet that's how that works.
Good stuff. Questions from anyone, Ruben? Because we're kind of, I know it's Friday and we love all you folks, but this is the hot action news and we're running out of news. I haven't had any Toyota commercials or any sponsored commercials, so we're going to run out of content here. Actually, overall, given how crazy this week has been with the news, and frankly, there has been the internet weather. And not in a good way. Yeah. And I don't know if Claris had their own outage, whether it was related to AWS or not. I'm kind of happy to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I found the details on that. Sorry, that's what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, okay.
Claris has they have like little notes on their system status page.
Okay.
Which is, if you want to switch back to the browser, it's up on screen.
Oh, sorry, my bad. There we go.
Yeah, you got it. So these are their official notes. So this is an extremely classic system failure. There were too many logs. They filled up the hard drive.
Are you serious?
That's why the pod went down. Yes. So December 15th, after extensive investigation, Claris has identified that part of the issue was caused by their cloud forwarding agent filling up the logging system on the boot of the server.
That's
wasn't
perfect.
Probably cleaning up after itself or something like that.
It's funny. The same stupid things we do, they do too. So it makes me feel like better.
Yeah. Oh, it's no different. Yeah. That's a classic.
All of you wonder how you're like they're special. What makes them special over there is they get a check from Apple. That's the only thing that makes them special. But they're subject to all the human frailties and weaknesses and all the dumb things. I've never done any of this before, but let's take Kyle Williams, for example. All the dumb things that he has done, Claris does it too, right? I'm perfect. I am obviously a perfect individual. I've never done anything remotely stupid, like inadvertently charged the CEO of a $6.9 million and transferred it to the company bank account.
That never happened. Nope. That has never happened previously.
Oh man, yeah, that was really rough.
That's a random example. It's not real, just so everyone's
It was
clear.
a random example, not real, except that my mind is scorched by that event. Here we go. See these red ones here? These are the special high intensity training. So if you have your complete training bundle, you get to come to FileMaker certification training. And if you're part of our complete bundle and you pass a certification test, send me a scan of your pass sheet, and I will mail you a patch. I'll put it in the mail. I don't know how much that's going to cost me if I have to send something to the Horn of Africa or something, but we'll figure out what it costs to do that, and get you a patch. It'll be the logo, the FM Training logo, and it'll say FileMaker Certified 2022. So you'll have it for your backpack or wherever you want to put that. Okay, cool. All right. Any other questions that we have going on? Anyone from YouTube questions at all? Want to make sure we answer that, add it to the schedule. We have any other news items, Jacob Taylor?
No, not right now. Not other than retelling the hilarity. Well, it's not hilarious for the people dealing with it, of Log4j and having update after update that don't solve the problem.
Yeah, when we first asked Claris about this, they came out and said, yeah, FileMaker 19 is not affected, and if you're not on 19, please upgrade. That was what their official first statement was, which there's nothing wrong with that statement other than it leaves people in a complete panic, maybe unnecessarily. But very much understand that FileMaker 19 has been in market now for 3 years. So we're kind of stuck with this like 19, and now they're working on the next one, the 19.5 and 19. Whatever. And I don't have a clue whenever they're going to stop calling it 19, right? So, yeah.
Did you get the question?
What's the question, Margaret?
Oh, there was kind of an off-topic.
Is a certification training course control predetermined or bad ad hoc training with questions that veer off topic? Michael, wow. That's like harsh.
Bad, you said ad hoc.
Ad hoc training with questions allowed that veer off topic. No, it's actually pretty much a focused training on it. We're going to be going through basically what we're going to do is we're going to take, Claris has a really good, surprisingly good document that basically tells you what's on the test. And we're going to go through that in detail and amplify what they are saying. And so it's important to understand, like people go, hey, there's all these Git functions on the test, and there's all these script steps on the test, and all this, well, they're in the platform, all these Git all these functions and hundreds of functions, not as bad as Monkey Bread, but. And so, like, well, how do we know what's on the test? It's all the high traffic areas. So my job is to take you through the Claris guide and amplify what they're saying and go through the high traffic areas of the FileMaker platform. For example, value lists. We're not going to show you how to build them. This is not a how to build a FileMaker solution training. It's how to, when you see a question, what are the snags on the question and what are the likely answers? It's not zero about how to build a solution, right? So building solutions and taking the test are two totally separate things, right? So will it be live? Yes. Will people ask off-topic questions? Yes. Will I chase those off-topic questions? Probably not too much, right? Probably not too much. If the question will have to be on topic, and if it's not on topic, we'll just shelve it, and they can come back to a live training at a 1 o'clock event. One of our normal training sessions, but I don't plan on veering off topic too much. The problem is it's there's a lot of material to cover, and I don't know that we can cover it in the amount of time we have. So what we'll do is I'll continue on the following week with additional training until it's done, and it'll be recorded, and then you can choose to take it or not. But Michael, here's the rub: is that I've had people tell me that the other training on the internet is not good enough for certification training. It's not good enough, and it doesn't get them through the test. I got a lot of people who've taken the test, have got anywhere from 40 to mid to high 50s on the test. So they were close. They're probably 2 or 3 questions from passing the test. The goal is to take it and pass it, and to get those extra questions passed. And a lot of it is server. The area that they choke on is server-related stuff. So we're gonna, spend more time on that kind of stuff. On the harder topics, on the harder questions. And one of the things you start to realize after you've taken the test a bunch is that Claris pulls I'm creating this PDF that people are going to get, which is what we're walking through. And basically, Claris loves to test on the notes. Like, can you go to the help screen again? Can you go back that one function, or that one help that we were just at? Go back to the.
Oh, where is it?
It was the help on that extent, that function. Did you get rid of it? No.
I got rid of it. Yeah.
Nope, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
All right, so I don't think this is on the test. At least I've never seen this on the test, but scroll down. But if they were going to put this on the test, scroll down. Okay, so keep going.
Examples?
Keep going. Okay, up. No, go up a little bit. Up a little bit.
I know what you're looking for.
It was that no. It said note. Somewhere in here it said note. Go back up where it says.
Yeah, no, it's the note
right
section.
Here. Okay.
This.
Okay. See this right here? If they're going to test you on it, they love testing on the note section, right? So this is a hot tip. So we're going to go through that kind of stuff. Right, you're like, you start to see this. I've been doing this now for 31 or 32 years, whatever it is, and you start to see patterns of behavior. They love testing on these. Like, it's not up here like what it does. Like, in this function will convert stuff, right? And it's not about that. What they'd probably do is they test you on this part, or they would say win path, URL path. Then they might put Linux path or something, right? Choose the correct path, right? And you're like, oh,
Lin path,
and Mac path, and iOS path, right? They do stuff like that, right? And so you have to know, and so that's what we're going to focus on. So yeah, people ask off-topic stuff, then we are going to kindly forego that. Lynn says, Richard, did we say earlier next week could take the cert test from home? Yes, you could take the cert test from home. So. Here, let me just go full screen with this briefly here. So this is you normally see this much of me, right? I'm over here working on this. I had a monitor die. I got my drinks over here. So I'm going to grab the camera over here and try not to get sick. So what they're going to do is to take the test home, you have to have a camera on like this. There's a camera on top of my monitor. And they're going to say, oh, we want to make sure you're not cheating, right? And so what they're going to do is they're going to either have you take the camera. And what they're going to do is they're going to have you pan all the way around, right? So they're going to pan over here, and it's like, oh, you've got all these monitors and stuff over here. You can't have that. That might have cheating. So none of this can be here. It has to be you and the computer. This is the computer that I'm working on. Normally the camera sits up here, right? That's it. That's what you're going to have. And so then they'll then look over that way, right? Well, then you look that way and there's like the door and a chair and all the secret, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, right? And they're going to look on the floor. You have secret notes on the floor down there. Here's my shoe. Oh my goodness, no shoe. And they're going to pan all the way around 360 degrees to make sure you're not a cheating weasel. Okay. So if you're cool with that, then the other thing is, if you're the kind of guy, gal, like I am, and you're reading, right? And so say you're having this test over here and says, name 2 of the supported paths. So if you have the question over here and you're reading, oh, what does this? And so you're sitting and reading, and if you talk to yourself while you're reading, they think you're talking to someone, and that person is talking back to you, and they'll pop up on chat and say, quit talking. And you're like, so Christian Olsen, who you've seen here, the wolf stuff, they've threatened to throw him out of the test and flunk him if he didn't quit talking and moving his lips, because he's sitting and reading to himself. So you have to have a sterile environment, and you can't talk to yourself. If you don't have a sterile environment and you tend to talk to yourself like I do, you might want to just go in and take it in person. Okay. Other questions? So yeah, all this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a couple videos in advance. So when we hit the ground running on Monday, January 10th, I already covered some basic low-hanging fruit, like testing strategies, like Christian Olsen had a problem with, he's taken the test a couple different times, and the first question he had was this question on server that was this really long, elaborate question. And part of the strategy is that you got 90 seconds on average to answer each question. Well, he had a question with like code and about server, and the first thing that it's like this, the ability to take a test is a personal skill, right? And a written test, different than like a driving test or something, a written test. And if the first question is a hard question, and looking at this question, it's instantly, you look at it, it's more than 90 seconds. And then you assume that every question on the test is like that. He mentally psyched him out. He flunked the test. right? That specific test. He passed since then. But the point is that he's totally stressed himself out, and he was like, oh my God, I don't know the server question, and it's really long, and I can't do it in 90 seconds. And then his mind starts cartwheeling and being self-destructive thoughts, and then he blows himself up. When the next question was like, what's 2 plus 2? Literally. The next question was like pow, 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 pow. So you're going to have questions that are 5 minutes that'll take you to figure out. There'll be questions that'll be 20 seconds. Right? So it's important to understand that. So
take you longer to read the question than to
yeah,
answer.
but I could see totally psych out. The first question is just it's like a torpedo right in the side of the ship and explodes, and you're sinking, and you're like, oh my God, every question's like this. I flunked the test, and what will Richard think? And what will the community think? And oh my God, how do I get out of this? Right? All the horrible thoughts that driven people think to themselves, right? Yes. So that's that. So I'm going to shoot a couple of videos that'll be done for you in advance. It's like your pre-curriculum homework if you want. So we won't be covering this specific question while we're going. We're going to be hitting the Claris paperwork and then amplifying their recommendations, because I can do that without getting in trouble. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's about it. Yes, Lynn says, Lynn to everyone. When I say we, it's we, everyone here, right? And so hopefully Michael Kerwin feels that we won't be wasting his time, right? I love that, right? So yeah. Technically, the certification training you paid for, we don't want it to be a waste of your time either. But I'm willing to. I strongly suspect if you pay attention and just don't phone it in. Some of you are going to show up to the certification training, you'll be doing other work, and you won't be really paying attention. If you pay attention and then you schedule the test like immediately thereafter, if you were close previously, then you'll get a pass on that. It'll be great. So, cool. All right. Well, that's about it for now. Margaret, anything else? We good?
I think we might be good. So.
All right.
Oh, actually, real quick, someone asked the dates. I gave it to them. You might want to run people by it again. The dates of the certification training.
Oh, I guess I could do that. So if you're interested in the certification training, you can go to fmtraining.tv, our website right here, right? And this, of course, the free schedule coming up. The certification training will be at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so it'll be about 2 hours before the normal live stream. So this is it right here. You just go to certification, press the button, and come over here. And if you have our complete training bundle, you already have an invite to this. If your training bundle is expired, you're not going to get an invite to it. We will send you an invite. You'll sign up. It'll be run through Zoom for those of you wondering about that. It'll be a Zoom conversation. It won't be on Discord and free services like that. All right. But yeah, the dates are January 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, Monday through Friday. I strongly think that that'll be more days the following. I'll try to keep it on track, but it's live, so people ask a question. Some of the questions may be very well relevant, and in which case I will take them and answer the questions. But every once in a while, people ask me like, "Hey, how do I connect a calendar to FileMaker?" I'm like, "Okay, that's not what this is for." So once again, it won't be about building. It won't be about building solutions. People have to understand, if you build solutions every day professionally and you do it all day every day, then there's a really good chance you could pass the test without trying, okay, or studying for it. But if you do it part-time, which a lot of us do, or if you don't do any server stuff, which a lot of us do, it puts you in an exposed position. This training is to get you over the hump. It's not to take you, like people are going to show up, I've never used FileMaker before, I installed it this morning. I can't get you to pass the test. But if you've been using FileMaker, you're familiar with it. If I say script workspace, define fields, relational diagram, I say the word anchor buoy, like that, then if you follow that, you don't have to be an expert, but you follow that, then I'm going to get you over the hump. My goal is over the hump training. We call it special high intensity training, but it's really kind of getting you over the hump, because you're going to be close on the test, just not quite good enough. And all we have to do is get you to 62%, a D minus in America. That's what Americans say. So, all right, cool. Well, have a good one, folks. I appreciate everyone. That's it for today. We'll catch you Monday. Who's Monday up again? Live stream Monday with Kyle Williams. Awesome. See ya. maybe a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!